it's working. That's a Claude, so it'll do AI summary too.
Nice.
God, we know an AI guy.
So Darren suggested that I tell you who my audience is. And based on what I've been doing recently, I decided it would be best to stick within like the credit unions, credit union associations that deal with a lot of different levels of team members who might be struggling with burnout and disengagement. And the thing I want them to walk away with is a simple mindset shift so that they can not overcomplicate their systems, but realize that the human touch, that personal connection is what they really need. Questions?
Please welcome Marcy. No, I'm just kidding.
Do you have I mean, I know we're going to hear it. Do you have a foundational phrase or no?
There are a couple that kind of go in. I'm not sure there is like one
Or a couple?
specific,
Okay, well,
yeah.
My suggestion is for you just to go as if you're really presenting. If you need to pause to make a note of something, then pause and take a note, but don't like
Yep.
explain or
Yep.
restart.
Yep.
Or
Agreed.
just
Sounds good.
do your presentation as if we just hired you, we're your audience, and you're just gonna work with us. That's what I'd recommend. That'll give you the best ability to feel with this. Keep in mind that, you know, you got a bonus with a 30-year-old Hall of Fame keynote speaker in the room who,
Thank you for putting up with us.
no, she did last story standing, and as far as keynotes, I mean, I had her come to me, she gave me 5 pages of notes. So you're in for a treat that, you know, she's like, are they paying you $25,000? I said, no. She didn't say that.
At least.
I'm just saying that having her in the room too, with her perspective, especially with the topic she speaks on, it's amazing. So I appreciate you being here. Because I said, do you want to go take a nap? She's like, no.
And,
All right.
and again, just if you come to a spot, you get lost or whatever, and you want to look at your notes, just pause, look at your notes, take your place again, and continue.
Sounds good.
Oh, good.
Do you
Ladies
have
and
an
gentlemen.
introduction? Do you have an introduction?
Not printed, not anything with me.
Okay. So I'm just going to say, please welcome Marcy Rankin.
Yep.
And then I'd have you literally stand to the couple feet over and move your body so you actually feel like you're moving to a position.
Yes.
Okay.
And did you, on your introduction, did you use like Mark or Craig's formula to do it, or did you just write an intro?
When I do an introduction, I do it's like a teaser, tease up my talk. It's not
So
just
it's
a list of
about the audience.
accolades.
Starts off about
Yes.
the audience. It's not just a
Yeah.
bio. Okay.
Yes.
Just wanted to make sure.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right, so are you ready? Do you have water up there?
I do.
You want some water? You're good.
What's
So
your
our
shoe
recording.
size?
8.5.
All right. Oh.
She's trying to throw me.
Please welcome Marcy Rankin.
In December of 2023, I was about to go in to present at an event. I put my car in park. Yeah, I have a knob in my car. And there's this noise. What is that noise? You know, I just got the car back from the mechanic. I bet the mechanic screwed something up. Turn the car off, the noise stops. Just to see if the sound would still be there, I turned the car back on, and there's the noise again. Well, I've been married for 24 years, and I know that my husband will not believe me if I don't have a video of that car making that sound. So I get my phone out, I'm taking the video, got my video, put my phone away, turned the car off, but the sound was still there. I look up, out my windshield, and there's someone using a weed eater. Talk about the wrong perspective. Have you ever found yourself in your organization so convicted and so convinced that you knew what the problem was that you threw everything at it? You created new systems. You found new ways to approach it and engage with your team members, only to find your team members disengaged, pulled back. They were silently becoming burnt out. How many individuals, how many talented individuals in your organization do you know that are silently suffering, but they've never said a word out loud? Burnout costs organizations $8.8 trillion in global GDP every single year. Wouldn't you like to have a piece of that back? Most organizations don't have a talent problem. They have an engagement design problem. And through some experiences in my life, I was made more aware of what that's like. In 2008, my family relocated from Boston, Massachusetts to central Indiana to move closer to family. We moved in with my parents. Temporarily, just for 6 months, to sell our house. That house that we were selling was 2008. I'm pretty sure my husband and I are responsible for bursting the housing bubble because we lost $40,000 in that crisis. So we're here in Indiana. I just finished college, got my degree. I'm ready to go. And because that was such an amazing experience and we made so much debt, I decided I would start a career in real estate. So I took the Brian Buffini courses, I took the sales courses, I did everything by the checklist, everything they told me to do, and I was in it to be successful and the best. So I told you I'm married, right? So my husband would come up to me and say, "Show me the money, honey." All right, I got this. So I worked hard, I put in lots of hours, 50 hours, 60 hours a week that first year. And at the end of the first year, I made it. I made us $9,000. Childcare costs $12,000. Show me the money, honey. So I worked harder. I took on more sales training, more experiences. I got busier and busier, and I spent my time trying to be more successful. And the success did come. I started making more money. We paid off all of the debt in my second year of real estate that we had accumulated in Boston. And here I was, successful in the top 10 rookies of our real estate company. It was amazing and awesome. But something was missing because I didn't feel awesome inside. Now, I wasn't burnt out because I was doing the wrong work. I was burnt out because the work I was doing had started to replace what really mattered and the purpose of which I was even doing the work for in the first place. Where in your organization might success be coming at the cost of something more important? I started to have sort of that wake-up moment and started to figure things out and recenter my purpose. I felt like I was starting to get it. But then on September 23rd, 2011, my husband and I found ourselves in the hospital room at Riley Hospital for Children. We were sitting beside the bed where our 6-year-old son, Will, was lying, covered in a mess of wires. He was intubated, had a ventilator mask on. His head was so swollen, he was hardly recognizable. This wasn't the same sweet little 6-year-old boy that we left the day before. Our son had been playing at our friend's house, staying with them while we were away for the weekend, a couple hours away. And the kids decided to get playful, as kids often do, and they were bouncing on a sofa. Well, they took an exercise ball and put it on the sofa, and then they bounced on the exercise ball on the sofa. That sofa backed up to a railing, overlooking a 2-story foyer entryway, laminate-covered concrete. And Will bounced on the ball and lunged over the railing, falling 14 feet onto his head. Our son was laying in that hospital room suffering from a severe traumatic brain injury. The doctor said, Mr. and Mrs. Rankin, after a fall like this, it's not unusual for it to take 24 to 36 hours for the swelling to come down. We'll place him in a medically induced coma, and then when the swelling comes down, we'll bring him out. But Mr. and Mrs. Rankin, we can't make any promises. In that hospital room, I was going through a rush of emotions. Our lives stopped. There was a moment I remember seeing some fluid coming from my son's nose. And we had this nurse there, Nurse Jen. Nurse Jen. We love Nurse Jen. If you ever have a nurse at a hospital and you're in a scary situation like that, you want a Nurse Jen. She was on top of it. She dotted every I, crossed every T. She was amazing. So I mentioned, Nurse Jen, there's something coming from my son's nose. I don't know what it is. So she took a sample and went off. And when she came back, she said, well, Mr. and Mrs. Rankin, we thought it was a problem, but it's not. No, I mean it's snot. Will has a runny nose. Now, as a mom of 6, I have never been more excited about snot in my entire life. In those moments, it was a roller coaster of emotions. And I remember moments like that gave us a little taste of hope. And I remember holding my son's hand in that hospital room, reflecting on who I was as a mom. Will, I know you're going to be okay. Mommy's right here. And when you get out of the hospital room, I'm going to take you to the park like I always promised. I'm sorry, I've always said I'm too busy for you. That moment, everything began to shift in me. I started to realize what my purpose actually was. Will did come out of that coma, not after 24 hours, not after 36 hours. It was 13 days. After 13 days, they brought him out of that coma. And he is a living miracle. He had to relearn everything over again. It's as if his brain hit a reset button, like being a 6-month-old stuck in a 6-year-old's body. He had to learn how to walk, how to talk, how to eat, how to write, all over again. But he did. And we celebrated each of those small victories. We went back to our regular lives, which shifted. All the times we used to spend on the soccer field playing soccer, watching him play soccer on those cold, drizzly mornings. He was a soccer star. Those moments were replaced with therapy and recovery sessions so that he could learn how to use his words a little bit better. And then we went to school and we had to come up with an individual education plan. Friends were good for a while, but Will carried an invisible disability, and kids didn't understand. So it was really hard for him to make friends. It was hard for him to be in class and be in school. My husband and I found ourselves making a list of all the things that the school needed to do to serve our son better. An angry email about all the things that they weren't doing that they said they would do. Their heart was in the right place. They wanted to help us. But it was just a checklist. These are the things the system has for us. It got more and more complicated until one day. I had made this little book for my son to tell him about what had happened to him at the hospital and in the accident. And I took it to school one time when we had just written this long, angry email. Mama Bear came out. And we gave it to the teachers at a meeting and said, would you just read his book? We just want you to see who our son is. And that book changed everything. Because for the first time, it wasn't because of lists, it wasn't because of systems, it was because they could actually see him for who he was. They could see his strengths and they could see the challenges that he faced. When the outcome seems uncertain, you focus on what matters most right now. The breakthroughs didn't come from saying more. Your teams, your employees, don't disengage because they don't care. They disengage when they stop feeling seen. And people can't give their best when they don't feel seen. Seeing someone is only the beginning. Now, back in 2003, I was gifted with an all-expense-paid vacation to a beach without an ocean in the middle of Iraq. I was deployed in the Army. Now, my mom, when she agreed to let me join the Army, not that she had a choice, I was 18. Who am I kidding? But I joined the military to play the trumpet in the military band. I was just a bugler. That's safe. Musician, they won't go to war. Besides, it was peacetime. But there I was, in the middle of Iraq in 2003 at the start of the Iraq War. And instead of playing music, we were filling up sandbags, sending them down an assembly line to stack around our tent perimeter so that we could make sure that we were secure and safe. And, well, if you don't know anything about the Middle East, it's very windy, and sand is really bad for your nose and your sinuses. So we would do that, but I couldn't lift a sandbag. And when you're with a lot of people that are a lot stronger than you, they'll fill them up even fuller. Some of those sandbags weighed 40 pounds. My husband wasn't there. How was I going to lift that? So I'm trying to pick these sandbags up, and it's not working. It's a third of my body weight. So I got smart. I'm a very smart woman. So I decided, you know what? I see some weapons over there. That looks important. So I wandered over, and I'm guarding the weapons. That's when Staff Sergeant Langston came over. Sergeant Rankin, why are you over here instead of over there filling sandbags? Staff Sergeant, I'm not strong enough to lift those sandbags. I'm better off over here. They don't want me over there because I would slow it down. Sergeant Rankin, you may not be strong enough now, but you will become strong. Now get over there. Yes, Staff Sergeant. You don't challenge a Staff Sergeant unless you're feeling particularly brave. So I went over there and I started picking up those sandbags a little at a time. And those sandbags started to represent something a little bit more than just sand and just my physical strength. It helped me process being away from my family, being away from my husband, all of the things that come along with a new situation that you're not expecting. And I remember each sandbag started to make me a little stronger. And I came home from that deployment stronger than ever before. I have pictures to prove it. But it didn't just make me stronger physically. It started making me stronger emotionally, mentally. Staff Sergeant Langston was just there to challenge me, but he empowered me to be more than I thought possible. Where might someone on your team need to be empowered? Is there someone that you see potential in, but no one's told them? Have you told them? Empowerment isn't lowering the weight. It's believing people can carry it. But strength alone, it's not the finish line. I have this newfound confidence, this strong, secure woman that I was. And then several years ago, I decided to start a speaking business. How hard could it be? And I found myself taking a chance. Because at first I didn't believe in myself, but then I learned from the experts that if you get a coach, someone that can encourage you and empower you like Staff Sergeant Langston did, then you're going to really do well. So I took a bet on myself, and I hired a business coach. I had a conversation with him, and I laid my entire life out, all the things that I'd hoped to do, empower women, help moms, look at all this stuff I've done. He asked me what my value was. I was a little bit timid and shy. I don't know. And he looked at me and said something I will never forget. You are playing too small. Other people need to hear what you have to say. Playing small? I survive on coffee. I've got 6 kids. I've served in the military. I've got a degree in economics, and I've got all these things. Small? He was right. I was experiencing life, but I wasn't giving myself value for the experiences I had. And when I started making that mental shift, I started gaining the confidence I needed to make the ask. Not long after that conversation, I remember going to an event, and at the end of the event, I said, "May I ask you a favor? Can I have an ask?" "Oh, yeah, of course, go ahead." So I have this new program I'm developing, and I'm looking for an organization where I can try it out. It's a series of presentations. Is that something that either you or someone here might know, an organization that would be willing to take a chance with me? And someone came up to me after that and said, "We are looking for someone. Would I be able to put you in contact with the people that are planning the upcoming event and see if you might be a good fit?" Holy cow, it worked! I didn't know that would work. I called my coach right away in the middle of a store because what he told me to do is go buy a $10,000 jacket. I was in Kohl's, so I did not find a $10,000 jacket. But I remember being on camera telling him, and he said, wait. I'm going to hit record. Say that again. They said yes! We did it! And there's some really nice jackets behind me, and I'm going to buy one. Where might your organization or your team be playing small? Over time, I started noticing this pattern. In working with organizations, those organizations who truly engage their employees, their teams, people feel seen. Organizations that empower their people, see potential in their teams, their people grow stronger. And when you do those two things, your teams and your people will exceed expectations and perform at a higher level. When organizations intentionally do this, retention improves, performance strengthens, and results become sustainable. I call it the exceptional outcomes model. Engage, empower, exceed. But it all comes back to how you see people. See, the weed eater, it wasn't about the engine. It never was. But how many times in organizations do you see your team and you think it's them? And your team is thinking, am I just a number? Am I just a line in an org chart? Who am I to you? What's the point? Why should I show up for you if you're just in it for the profits? How do you see your people? But it wasn't the mechanic, it wasn't the engine, it was the angle. What if it's not your people? What if it's your perspective? When you change how you see people, you lead differently. And your people exceed expectations. Sometimes, it's all how you look at it. Maybe it's a problem, but it's not.
Sorry we didn't put a timer on, but I timed everything.
Okay,
Why didn't that? Your video time.
it's gotta be close to 25 or 30.
25 minutes.
Okay, good. It's better than 65.
That's fantastic.
You wanna hire me?
I do.
I forgot to ask, so I am asking now.
Go stay up there for your coaching. All right, are you good?
We're gonna do, I think we're gonna do Nat and then coach at the end if that's
Stop
okay.
your video then.
Are you sure?